Finally, she can't hold it anymore and starts screaming, I before E, Justin, I before E. What are you, stupid?
Obnoxious Trivia, question number one. What is the number six best Renaissance fair in the country, according to a 2026 article on usatoday.com? Back when Gen Xers were kids, our room setup was personal. Everybody had the Grim Reaper blacklight poster, Heather Thomas in the jacuzzi, and of course, the giant print of Wildman Fisher. Okay, maybe that was just me.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Can you believe this is our 40th episode of season 4? Wow.
High Spy.
There was a time when we didn't know what the hell we were going to do in season 4. Anyway, all right, let's talk about this next thing from the cheap seats. Now, those of you that have raised children may be able to appreciate this. Have any of you ever witnessed ridiculously overbearing parents at kids' sporting events or competitions? I'm talking about the dads yelling at their son in front of the whole team, the militant dance mom yelling out, "On your toes, Samantha!" Or your son that gets clotheslined in a football game and the father that yells, "Get up, rub some dirt in it! Stop your crying. This is supposed to be fun, goddammit!" Simultaneously scarring their child for life and making the rest of us extremely uncomfortable.
These are the parents that are living vicariously through their children's activities. Maybe their mom wouldn't pay for piano lessons or wouldn't sign the permission slip for badminton tryouts. Or maybe they just didn't make the team. So now these parents are going to make up for their lack of competition by acting like a lunatic at various events by attempting to scream their offspring to greatness.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's gotten better over the last couple of decades, but I can tell you, we used to go to my nephew's baseball games, and there was this one father. He was such a blowhard. "Wake up, Chris. Maybe you'd rather sit on the bench."
He was regularly banned from games by the umpires for aggressively arguing their play calling and screaming at his own kid. This was 10-year-olds playing Little League, for Christ's sakes. The ones who scream at the refs are a special kind of nut job, throwing hissy fits over the outcome of a Pop Warner game.
I remember getting into the car afterwards and saying to my family, in all seriousness, "Am I missing something? Did this suddenly become the World Series and nobody told me? This does not matter at all, right?"
I remember T-ball, where the coaches said, we are not keeping score. I can tell you every parent in the stand was keeping score. Meanwhile, my son hits the ball and stops to talk to a girl halfway to first base. He really pays to field that one.
Let's see what you did there. It's like something I would have done.
That was Craig Patrick.
Naturally, the concept of boisterous, overbearing parents exists in all walks of life, not just these examples that we've given. Imagine Dad in his Oxford button down, losing his shit during the chess club tournament. "Rory, get your head out of your ass and protect your rook." He angrily chucks his Argyle sweater in his son's general direction in disgust.
Round after round of the spelling bee flashes by as the words get harder and harder. We've progressed from accessory and broccoli to pneumonia and onomatopoeia. A ghostly, sissy spacek adjacent creature paces nervously at the back. Finally, she can't hold it anymore and starts screaming, I before E, Justin, I before E. What are you, stupid? And then the Queen Mother flies. Jesus Christ, the Q is silent. We did drills over this.
Westchester Middle School made a bold move this year, putting Marvin in charge of the annual car wash fundraiser for the basketball team. Little did they know, Marvin actually runs Big Kahuna's auto detailing and is, well, let's just say, passionate about his craft.
Several shampoos were rejected. Chanel wash mitts are mandatory, and apparently he has something called the Armor All is Evil rule. The day was eventful with Marvin barking orders like, white walls are supposed to be white, McCloskey, and it's a car, not a toaster, McPherson. Let's get that chrome shinier. Put some elbow grease into that wax job.
Okay, I'll end it with a true story. I was about 12. I was a pretty good baseball player at that point. I played first base, and I used to warm them up. Like I would hit the infield to get them warmed up for the game. The coach was such a dick. He was so hard on his son. If his son made a mistake, he would yell and scream at him in front of the whole team, like if he struck out or dropped the ball. He was never kind or you'll get him next time. So this one time we were in a tournament and all of a sudden here comes his wife tearing out of the bleachers. She goes, "I will not let you take this out on him. It's not his fault you can't get it up in the bedroom." Awkward. I jumped up and grabbed the bat. I said, "Okay, let's all field some grounders." Okay. Our feature interview this week is with the UK heavy rock duo Sky Valley Mistress. We have an epic chat with Kaylee Davis and Max Newsom about the formation and history of the band, how they pared themselves down to a duo, and why they drive a hearse from gig to gig, and more. Plus, there's some random NASA-related trivia, and we even find out how Kaylee got the nickname Hellkitten. So stay tuned for that.
Let's play a song. This is Thundertaker. Okay, let's talk about Ripple. Ripple is a wonderful charity dedicated to the cause of suicide prevention. It's a plugin that can be downloaded, and if someone attempts a suicide-related Google search, it offers up multiple resources to help people who are in this lost, vulnerable state. It's a fact every day thousands of people search Google with terms like how to kill myself and painless death.
These people need our help. If you know someone who has ever felt this way, please check out the link to Ripple's resources in this week's show notes. Social media can be very misleading. So many people broadcast this facade life that they do nothing but stroll gorgeous beaches, sipping homemade kale superfood smoothies. But it's just not the way it is, people. Everyone has problems. Everyone has insecurities. And when you feel lonely or helpless, reach out and talk to someone. Anyone. Never forget, the world is a better place because you are in it.
Okay, so what's happening on Patreon this week?
I am ravenously gobbling up this. Nothing but bad luck. The lives of Warren Zevon. But I have to warn you, he sort of orbits the Rolling Stone cult of Springsteen dickheads that I don't like. Billy Altman, Alan Neester, and of course Dave Marsh. I can't stand that guy. Dave Marsh is like one of the big wigs of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's one of the guys where you're like, not Lionel Richie's bass player, but not Thin Lizzy. Like he's one of those guys, right? Anyway, but does that affect the quality of the book? You'll have to get over to Patreon and check it out.
And
Also, I think for Stace's blind beer taste test, we're just going to do 3 brands. 3 brain frying frozen pizza and $100 bill flavors, because if we do 6, then we might have 6 shitty beers laying around. So,
also,
anyway.
I'll be getting my garden put in this week.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So maybe Wednesday.
Maybe some opportunities there.
We
Yeah.
can do a little filming on how I do my elevated beds.
And speaking of brain frying, I think it's time. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
I tried to go outside my mind this time, and there was nothing there, so I came back. Okay. Obnoxious Trivia, question number 1. What is the number 6 best Renaissance fair in the country, according to a 2026 article on usatoday.com?
I have been to the one in Baltimore.
I told you that girl I dated, her friend and roommate that I was. She lived right in that town. That was like her biggest event of the year for her town. Crownsville.
Oh, I didn't go to the one in Crownsville. I just went to the one in Fells Point.
Oh, God, we went to Crownsville. Anyway, all right.
So it's a pirate.
Okay. Number 6 best Renaissance fair in the
Number
country.
6.
Yes.
Can't ever do number 1.
Well, why would we do that? Okay. A, the Sword and the Stone Festival in St. Louis, Missouri.
Sounds like a number 1.
B, the Fairhaven Festival in Gold Canyon, Arizona. C, the Mutton and Mermaids Festival in Tallahassee, Florida, or D, the Jousting Jesters Fall in McDade, Texas. Number 6, Best Renaissance Fair.
I'm gonna go with C just because I like the way it sounds. The Mutton and Mermaids, although I don't know what mermaids have to do with Renaissance.
In my research, I did find that some have mermaids in them. I don't know what that has to do with, but it's incorrect. It's actually the Fairhaven Festival in Gold Canyon, Arizona.
Think
Yeah.
I was not even on the radar for that one. I
Yeah.
was thinking Arizona.
I was the only one that didn't get a saucy name. I made up all the saucy names. Mutton and Mermaids, Jousting Jesters. That's all me. So, all right, 0 for 1. Number 2. Which one of these is not an actual song from Anal Cunt's 1997 album, I Like It When You Die? So which one of these is not a song? A, being a cobbler is dumb. B, recycling is gay. C, your favorite band is Toto. Or D, haha, your wife left you.
I'll go with C. Your favorite band is Toto. I don't think they're
Very
actually a
good. Very
band.
good. You got one right. But you know what? There's actually a song on there called Your Favorite Band is Supertramp. So all I did was tweak it a little bit, but very good. You sniffed that out very quick. Yeah. There's a song there like I have AIDS, so I deliberately coughed on your kid. I mean, like Anal Cunt, they were the kind of band that like the music was like, nah, but it was like, oh, I can't wait to read the titles, you know. I like recycling is gay. That's great. Okay. All right, number 3.
So I
John
missed it.
Sylvan.
They didn't even pick ours up this week.
No. Okay, number 3. John Sylvan, inventor of the K-Cup coffee machine, was quoted in 2015 article as regretting his invention. What was the reason? A, because it eliminates the coffee drinker's relationship to the bean. B, they aren't recyclable and it only saves 20 seconds of your day. C, he feels his later invention, the coffee press and pour system, is much better. Or D, improving on the toaster oven would have been a better use of his time.
I want to say they aren't recyclable since they started coming out with those pods that you can repeatedly use over and over with your own coffee, which I actually switched to after a while.
You are correct.
Wow.
It was B. There was some kind of thing in there that every year we have enough K-Cups to go around the world like 6 times or something. It's ridiculous. Yeah. You can't do shit with them.
I
Oh.
bought that little.
And he actually says, don't listen to what Green Mountain says. They'll never be recyclable.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bought those little plastic things that you can fill with coffee and just keep reusing.
Yeah.
And the lady, remember I told you I'd use the K-Cup machine at work, and I would leave it in there for a few minutes because it was really hot, and she'd always be like, "You left your thing in the K-Cup. It's boiling."
Every
Give me a minute.
time I tried to use that, or my ex-wife tried to use that, it would destroy the machine.
Really?
The kind where you make your own, like it never worked for me. It would break the needle. Anyway, okay. So you're doing pretty good. You got 2 right already. Okay, number 4. What was the number 9 dumbest fast food promotion according to thedailymeal.com? A, Popeye's launch of their first chicken sandwich, which caused them to run out.
I remember that.
B, Arby's campaign in 2003 to cure vegetarianism. C, Rack's roast beef's creation of Mr. Delicious character in 1992. Or D, Kenny Rogers Roasters 1995 half chicken $2.99 deal.
This is the 9th dumbest fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll say Arby's campaign in 2003 to cure vegetarianism.
It's incorrect. I'm sorry. The correct answer is Rack's roast beef creation of Mr. Delicious. So what they did was they wanted their menu to be taken seriously. So they created this character called Mr. Delicious, but he never talked about the restaurant. And he actually like was this balding guy in dorky clothes, and he would complain about his vasectomy operation.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
that made a lot of sense to marketing executives.
And that was only the 9th dumbest?
Only the 9th
Wow.
dumbest. You know what the number 1 was?
Huh.
Domino's 30 minutes or less pizza because it caused so many accidents. Remember all that? Accidents. At one point, a woman got killed, or a woman got run over by a car, and they had to pay her like $76 million or something. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that lasted for like 10 years, and they just had to put up the white flag because they were getting sued left and right over a fucking pizza, you know. So, anyway, 2 for 2, not bad. This has been Obnoxious Trivia. Okay. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with curing vegetarianism. I didn't eat meat for an hour one time, and it was like the worst hour of my life, you know. So, just saying. Okay, it's time for our Snaggletoon, and this one is called
Bedheads. Ah, yes, the sacred ritual of the bed party. It's what can only be described as a full-scale commitment to school spirit on a mattress. Let's break this down. You must invest in every bit of swag you can get your teenage hands on.
First, the setup. School-colored balloons tied to every bedpost. Mind the ceiling fan. Perhaps the graduation year balloons, too. Then the merch rollout. Prove that you cleaned out the fucking school bookstore. Pillows, hoodies, sweatshirts, tumblers, hats, a school sweater on the family cat. Build-A-Bears wearing school cheerleader uniforms, throw blankets, and tons of snacks in school colors, like customized cookies or collegiate-themed cake. Just make sure you get the right frosting color.
The main event. The bed is no longer just a place for sleeping. It is now a certified content platform. It's been transformed into a shrine, a showroom, a YouTube channel called She Got Into State. Behold our mattress odyssey. And it gets posted to TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, and even Dad's old MySpace page. Just so you know, I have arrived at the highest level of cult commitment to the school I have not even begun attending yet.
So back in our day, a collegiate acceptance celebration was a bona fide snail mail letter. If it was thin, you knew you were rejected. If it was thick, you could start your happy dance. Maybe a call to grandma for congratulations. Comments from parents like, you can never really have too many summer jobs. And if you were really living large, a sheet cake with the word congrats on it.
Boy, this is gonna suck if you decide to switch schools after one semester. What if your roommate spends all day chatting with her China dolls and snorting jello through a straw?
Back in the analog era, you could at least switch to community college if you wanted without it hitting the local headlines. Of course, with no internet, we were forced to pay the extortion level prices for textbooks. I actually uttered the phrase, hey, this paperback's only $97 out loud in my sophomore year one time.
And of course, the content creation pivot point. Set up my bed party with me. Let's watch you pile your bed with all the crap your parents bought. Sorry, I'm busy watching something more exciting like cement hardening.
Back when Gen Xers were kids, our room setup was personal. Everybody had the Grim Reaper blacklight poster, Heather Thomas in the jacuzzi, and of course, a giant print of Wildman Fisher. Okay, maybe that was just me.
Now it's a ring light, $1,500 worth of swag, and 12 bags of Doritos. My journey into academia.
I cannot believe that this is a thing. How ridiculous.
It apparently started in the South during COVID, and now it's become like as commonplace as, a gender reveal.
People with money to burn creating what is not at all content. Appalling, appalling, appalling. Let's hear a song. This is Sky Valley Mistress with Too Many Ghosts.
With no let up, you can ride the vibes if you tough enough. I cannot rest at ease. I'm sensitive to energies. Walk restless, concrete, bitter, please.
Now let's talk about home nutrition, and I think you have the very thing here.
We just got our order, so very
Lovely, lovely.
all these new bottles. Hum's a great company out of California. They have supplements. If you don't already take supplements, well, why wouldn't you get a little bit of edge in your life? You may have different concerns than us. They always send this lovely Hum Insider with lots of good tips like how to unplug, lots of articles, what's in our bag for summer, your weekend stack, what you should be doing, and of course an ad for something I have right here. If you've heard of Ozempic, this is a GPL booster.
Okay.
GPL booster. Say that 4 times fast. So this little guy, no need for injections or needles. We put this right into our smoothie today, and it helps with that metabolism. It also has a little bit of flatter me in it, which scares me just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Anyway, it also tastes really good too. This looks like a tropical
I
taste.
guess they had to go flatter me because shit your brains out wouldn't really go well with the marketing team, So
Oh.
sorry, Hum people. No.
Also, we have Pro AZV gummies, better known as apple cider vinegar. These guys are great for basically helping also with that metabolism. So if you need a little edge in your diet, this is one that you can add. We also, why stop at one thing, have the best of berberine. There's no crappy berberine on our watch.
Unacceptable.
This also helps with metabolism, weight, and your sugar levels. Also a great product we can't live without. I also like red carpet. This is for glowing skin and shiny hair.
Which, of course, this lovely woman has.
I'm currently building back my nails after deciding to give myself a break from fake ones. And now when I grow them out, I'm actually going to take care of them. Shocking. Then we have some celery juice fiber gummies. These will also keep your gut healthy. They also taste great, and it is a great start to your day. They have lots and lots and lots of products over at Hum. They have omegas if you kind of want a brain boost. They have a private party
I could always use that.
if you need your hoo-hoo fixed up.
Mhm.
They have supplements for acne if you have those kind of concerns. If you're not sure, take their quiz and they will recommend products to you. Still not sure? Go online. You can actually chat with a dermatologist or read reviews about any of these products. And I can tell you they're not crap. They're actually based in science and nature and they actually work.
Trying. Okay.
Use our link. It will save you off your first order.
Okay. Okay. It's time. We're going a little haywire this time. We're going to talk about Half Japanese's debut, One Half Gentleman, Not Beasts. Now, we have all had our socially awkward moments in youth. One of the earliest ones I can remember was homeroom class in like third or fourth grade. I sat next to this beautiful, sophisticated girl that was totally out of my league. She was so smart. One day, the teacher brought up the poem The Night Before Christmas. This girl got up in front of the class and recited the entire poem from memory. No planning, no prompting. Anyway, the morning in question, a sudden sneeze came out of nowhere. And before I could turn my head, I'd blown snot all over her shoulder. She calmly wiped it off and said to me, "Next time, try a Kleenex."
Awkward.
We've talked about it on the show before, but prior to the internet, your copy of an album was the only copy. So we had a habit of like leaving our favorite records and tapes at girlfriends' houses. Then after the inevitable breakup, retrieving music was, shall we say, a challenge. Normally the response was, "Yeah, Mark, I threw all your shit out." Fair enough. Okay. One time, I thought I had successfully picked up a stranded Ramones album. She gave it back cheerfully. It was Rocket to Russia. Of course, when I got it home, I realized she had carved the word asshole into the record. I saw her in school the next day, and I said, "What did the Ramones ever do to you?" Finally, around my senior year, a bunch of us were hanging around my friend's pool. I decided to run out and get us some food. At the last minute, this girl that I had never met jumped into the passenger seat. "I'll go with you." Okay. Tell you what, the minute we got parked, she went straight for the BJ. I mean, we're talking broad daylight, front seat of the car, and she was quite efficient, I must say. I didn't know her name. So the only thing I could think to say after she finished was, "We should probably get you a drink." Awkward.
A bona fide expert in boy-girl awkwardness, the brothers Jad and David Fair have been dishing out copious amounts of noisy, discordant rock and roll since the late 1970s. After relocating to rural Maryland from the Midwest, they released one EP in 1977 before committing to work on what would become this monster. Somehow they were signed to the UK-based label Armageddon Records, an imprint that would eventually unleash edgy records from artists like The Soft Boys, Pylon, and Robin Hitchcock. Incredulously, as one of the label's flagship releases, the album consisted of no less than 50 songs in a 3 LP box set, an incredibly bold way to release a debut. Musically, the sound of early Half Japanese is nothing if not distinct. Chad and Dave show a tendency to saw on their guitars, scraping and scratching discordant fare, alternating panicky vocals, typically delivered with rapid-fire stream of consciousness yelps or detached muttering. As previously mentioned, titles like I Love Oriental Girls and Dream Date hint at the Fair brothers' lyrical inspirations. Seems drummer Rick Dreyfuss doesn't get enough credit for his spastic contributions either, blasting along at ludicrous speed or doing his best to keep a solid mid-pace banging on trash cans. The word art damage may be the perfect way to describe this collection as the combination of savage, noisy dirges, tempos speeding up and slowing down, odd krautrock adjacent experiments, and mangled covers sprinkled with equal amounts ferocity and naivety is a sound like no other. Some songs have no chorus, while others practically beat you to death with them.
The 2 Minute Pounder, Shy Around Girls, is as good a place to start as any. Dreyfuss kicking out a beat not unlike the Trog's Wild Thing, as the canvas for Jad and David to scrub their guitars furiously while shouting random phrases like, I like to look at your picture and think about you, and I might be shy, but I'm not stupid. In fact, if you swapped out the droll, drag-addle lyrics for teen angst, this could have passed for a flipper song. Let's hear a little of Shy Around Girls.
So I can spend my time looking at your picture, thinking about you. Call me up and give my heart a test. We can check out my brains, check out my heart, check out my love, check out my passion, check out my emotions, check out my feelings, check out my love.
Grr is another wild one. No drums this time. Just a hypnotizing guitar lick repeated over and over again as Jad and David scream out vocal gibberish over the course of 2 minutes. Eventually the guitar fades, giving Jad carte blanche to blow raspberry at us repeatedly for the song's finale.
Ooh, baby, baby, baby. Ooh.
Sound like a orangutan.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get folks to leave for last call, this one should send them running for the doors. Till Victory is a simplistic stomp, the clanky beat reminiscent of a couple of bricks rolling around in the dryer. The Fairs jab the eardrums with occasional noisy guitar stabs and a couple of pages of lyrics that may just be random syllables muttered unintelligibly like an auctioneer that got into the cough syrup. Another unusual inclusion is not one but two 20-minute live sets on the second disc, consisting entirely of covers that even the most discerning ear will have trouble deciphering, including attempts at classics from the Monkees, Beach Boys, the Stones, and Dylan, among others. There's lots of cryptic between-song banter, and both shows represent a life-changing night out for half a dozen people. It's not hard to imagine they ended up with a noise ordinance violation and power being cut.
An endurance test for sure, but one that we recommend very highly. You have to hand it to the folks at Armageddon Records, as I'm pretty sure this was their flagship release, throwing caution to the wind with no editing whatsoever. Who kicks off a label with a 3 LP set from a completely unknown band doing its best to sound like 2 radio stations at once? At any rate, fans of the good stuff like Shags, Wildman Fisher, and maybe even that nutty Langley School of Music project will find sonic gold in these 4 sides. They kick off to a fascinating and extensive discography, varied enough to make you forget the time you called Jennifer Darlene and she decorated your face with soft serve. Let's hear a little This Is Grrr. Okay, I want you to see an interview.
So this album has become one of my favorites, guaranteed to be on my top album list for year end. If you haven't tapped into Sky Valley Mistress, this is a good place to start. They're a really unique blend of jazz with kind of this desert rock, that is absolutely infectious. Every time I spin this album, I sing every song, every word. And it was really interesting to know these two really great, funny people, lots of personality with Max.
And male-female duo, who knew, right? So take it away.
So I've been absolutely, how does the young people say it, low-key obsessed with this album, I have to say.
Thank you. So wait.
Cheers.
I always think they're misusing low-key. I'm like, I don't think you're using it correctly. It's become to mean secretly or something. It bugs the hell out of me. So you guys kind of started as a 4-piece. So kind of take us through your evolution for where you became a duet, and where was the moment when you kind of realized you could do it by yourself with just the two of you?
Right.
When we had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys did such a beautiful review, and you guys have done your research, which we very much appreciated. So you already know some of this, but we our first album came out the weekend that lockdown was announced, and everything was just meant to, you know, work out perfectly. And it did the complete opposite. You know, we just recorded Faithless Rituals, our first album, in Joshua Tree, over your side of the pond. And then, you know, we were releasing the album. We were due to do the whole European tour and feel like big deals. And then, you know,
the teenage dream.
Yeah. And then lockdown decided that we were going to stay indoors instead and not even be with each other, you know. So they just threw all that, you know, we did get to tour it a little bit. But then the guitarist and bassist decided that, you know, they weren't going to carry on, which we totally get. And yeah, it was a case of, one, we wanted to be able to record our next album as quickly as possible. 2, we wanted to be able to tour it as quickly as possible. So like getting other people in would have taken time. And then, you know, you book shows and then it doesn't work out and you're stuck. And also like, we didn't want to do the guys a disservice and like
replace them.
Yeah, it didn't feel like the right time to do any replacing. It was like, let's be Sky Valley Mistress as we are now, just the two of us. So we recorded the album like a 4-piece or a 5-piece in some cases.
Yeah.
And Max played every instrument on the record. So I don't drum on the record. Because while we were recording the album, I was actually learning how to even hit a drum.
Yeah.
So I was not ready to go on tape. So we were like recording the album and also working out how the hell we were going to play with the drummer and the singer.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, I think like what sort of happens with us too is that I'll come up with a ridiculous idea that makes absolutely zero sense and should not be attempted. And then Kay, just because she's an absolute efficient machine of absolute pure destruction in getting stuff done, she goes, okay, right, let's do it. And then she takes the first step and I'm looking at her, okay, I guess we're going to set up this weird bastard drum kit thing in the middle of a stage and play each other's instruments and then try and record an album at the same time and reverse engineer those songs so that we can play those as a 2-piece whilst trying to figure out making all the artwork and driving a hearse and dressing up as astronauts. And you know, it like I speak faster than I think, and I don't know, Kay seems to just take that and go, yeah, cool, let's make that happen. And then it hits me and I realise what we're doing, and then the panic kicks in.
To synopsize that, we turn rock and roll into rocket science.
Yeah.
We make it look really difficult and...
Yeah. We're good at doing that.
Yeah. Oh, but I just realised, you guys said it was cocktail hour, didn't you, for us? Which I really liked. What time is it for you guys there?
It's like 1 p.m. We're still on coffee.
That's usually what it's like when we interview bands from the UK. We say, you know, our coffee time is your cocktail hour. You know.
So is that what? Is that 6 o'clock?
Yeah, it's a 6-hour difference, I guess. Yeah.
Should I get a...
Yeah, I definitely want a beer. We've got a mini fridge in the practice room. It's got to be done, but it's not just any beer. I don't know if you know about this, but
I do.
Oh, look at that! You got your own. That's great. And no, I appreciate what you're saying, because with me and Stace, it's the same way. Like, I'll come up with the most ridiculous idea. Like we did a hip hop review, and I'm like, let's wrap the review. And she's like, okay. Like she'll any whatever crazy shit I come up with.
Looking at me.
And he's like, "Are you ready to do this?" And I said, "Look at me." And I had tied a blue bandana on
You
my
had
head.
it
I'm
like
like,
a
"I'm
deep
ready."
bag on. It was perfect, right? I
That
mean,
was
just that's
exactly
the best feeling that that your creative partner is like, all right, whatever crazy shit you just said, let's do
Yeah,
it. You know,
we're
so
ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it scares me sometimes that she takes me so well. You take me so seriously because I don't take myself like I know that there's stupid ideas, but then when someone starts believing in it, you start believing in it. But yeah, at the same time, you're like, yeah, but I definitely know that this won't work because I thought about it.
Sometimes it's fun taking the first step and then watching the show.
Yeah.
I also feel like Kate just likes to watch me suffer a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so she ended up spending the night. Is what you're saying?
But it was hot and we were both covered in sweat by the time we were finished. So then I woke up a few hours later with $10 and $20 bills stuck all over my body because we forgot to take her garter. Oh, hi.
Hey. We know you're here for our wonderful chat with Sky Valley Mistress, but just a quick reminder, we do interviews like this every single week here on Snaggletooth.
Like our great talk with Tim Coots Smith of the psych metal band Jack Harlan and the Dead Crows. Or our interview with John Winooski of the Seattle synth metal band Nuclear Dudes, which covers everything from light up goggles to a hatred of saxophones.
And of course, our epic discussion with Dan Peach, Ali Vicious, and JJ Connor of the amazing UK-based goth metal band Lesbian Bed Death. They made their own horror movie. So remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on a single great interview like these. And now, back to Kaylee and Max. Yeah.
You
So
made
like my
bad
next
lineup.
crazy idea is like, so for our next show, I'm going to do one review in the style of Justin Hawkins. I'm going to have like the
Yeah.
guitar out. I'm going to say whilst a lot, and I just have to work on my chops a little bit, but that'll be our next crazy idea, you know.
That's seriously the one which effort you put into this stuff. It's
Yeah, it's
absolutely
beautiful.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like full respect, because I know it ain't easy at all.
Yeah.
His
But anyway.
podcast is so dry, though. Have you seen his thing? He'll talk about whether he drinks coffee or tea for 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
If it's him and the girl, it's really dry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I love it.
I love it. So that's a blonde ale that I see.
Yes, it is. It's
Very cool.
A Belgian
modeled
blonde.
on a Belgian blonde. Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Belgian hops and
Yeah, fresh ingredients. I drank nearly half a keg of this when we did our exhibition for our album, and I never had a hangover. So that's my like seal of quality with this.
yeah.
It's good stuff. But I could talk about beer for a long time.
Yeah,
so
we don't
should move
actually
on.
make any money off the beer, but we're just promote it because it's
It's good.
yeah. We're absolutely.
Now, did the brewery come to you, or did you go to the brewery?
Yeah, so we met them. We played a show down in Tunbridge Wells, which is like just a bit outside of London for anyone who doesn't know. Cause, I mean, I didn't until we played there. But yeah, we played this.
Everyone's just outside of London.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, we did a festival, and we were loading everything into the hearse at the end of the night, and they're like, oh, it's great, you've got a hearse, and we were just chatting, and I didn't know that they had a brewery, but the two guys were like, oh yeah, like we should do a beer together, and they were enjoying the beer that was on offer at the festival. It was the end of the night, and we're like, yeah, sure, I'm sure that'll happen. Like, I mean, it'd be great, but not really expecting anything to come out of it. And then I think it was like the next day or a few days later, he messaged us and was like, what do you like? We'll make it.
Yeah, and like gave us a whole
that's great.
breakdown of how it would run and whatever. And yeah, we were just, but then we came back to them and said like, because normally they just throw the bands or the people they work with like a few cans, and it's just a bit of fun that they do because they have a bit of extra cash in the business.
10-ton brew, by the way. I should say.
Yeah. Honestly, they're the coolest dudes.
Yeah.
But then we were like, oh, we've got our album out at the start next year. We're doing an exhibition. Like we want to sell some cans, and they were like, whoa, we've never had a band that want to, take some kegs. And we're like, yeah, like we're getting the tap in.
Yeah, we
like,
got 4 kegs all together, and I
Yeah.
we drank most of it. But
yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. It was fun. Yeah, but
Yeah, wait.
really cool dudes.
yeah, they've got a little online shop. I don't know if there's any cans left.
I don't know. They were really surprised because they do a lot of like, I don't know a lot about beer. I'll talk a lot about it because I like drinking it, but they do a lot of like IPA, you know, like the bougie stuff. And then, so this was like a bit more straight ahead for them, but they couldn't believe it. Like it had sold really, really well, really fast.
Turns out we have good taste in beer.
Yeah, we tend to gravitate toward the IPAs mostly.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Lagunitas or there's a local brewery, Flying Dog, and they make I think our favorite is probably Raging Bitch or
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's a conversation starter when you're holding it. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
My mom wanted to know what kind of beer to get for him, and I'm trying to tell her a Raging Bitch, and she's like, "Do I just ask for that?" I'm like,
Yeah, brilliant. That's all cool.
So I wanted to ask you about, all right, coming up with the name of the band. It's Caius album cover or Caius album title plus Mistress. Like, how did you guys decide on that?
So the story is that this was I've had the band name for years, since I was a teenager. But basically, I just used to look at the cover as a kid before I'd heard the album. It was just lying around in my house, and I used to imagine what was over the Purple Hill. And when I was older, I went to this music group, and I kept saying to the guy who ran it, I was like, yeah, everyone's kind of doing like the punk thing or like the metal thing, and I was like, everything's too loud and like, well, no, not too loud, too pointy and fast. I'm like, I want something that's like heavy, that's like fucking meaty. And he was like, you need to listen to Caius. Listen to the album. And I'm like, oh, this is the one that was, you know, when I was a kid. And I sat there listening to it, and, you know, headphones on and in a haze. And the kind of idea is that it's like over the hill. Well, when we went, it's not a hill, is it? It's just a road. But anyway, it's that it's like a post-apocalyptic like world, but like because it was purple, and obviously if the world ended, there would only be females left. That they would be like the Sky Valley Mistresses, and so like that was the idea of like, yeah, they're all like fucking 9-foot women that like have like angel wings on their back, and they all dress in lingerie for some reason, and they rule the world, and that's it. They're all that exist. Because yeah, so that was the idea of like a Sky Valley Mistress. So that's like we have I don't have it anywhere, do I? Our logo is like a cross, where it's like a longer one and then a shorter one. Have you got one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got the one that we use on stage. And so the idea was that originally I wanted it that we would use that logo and it progress into like, you know, the fallen angel from the
wow.
You know, the like Icarus flying to the sun.
Yeah.
We do like it had morphed into like the female version of that. But that never quite happened. But yeah, that's the sort of idea, the meaning. Plus it was just I didn't want a the band at the time. And I just thought I don't know if you're familiar with, do you know like Reading and Leeds Festival over here?
No, but it sounds like fun.
No, it sounds good. Yeah.
It's honestly, well, Reading spelt like reading, so everyone makes the joke like, why are you going to a reading festival? But it's not. Yeah, I used to go there from the ages of like 11 to 18 every year. My mum used to take me. And I saw so many like amazing bands, but they have a really distinctive yellow poster that's like really famous in the UK, like. And
They did.
True, it's changed since. But I used to draw our logo at the top of it, and like I try different band names, and I'm like, does that suit being at the top of the Reading and Leeds? I'm like, no, gotta, you know what I mean? And then when I found Sky Valley Mistress, I'm like, that's the one. That suits being in big old letters on the top of the, you know, the top of the bill. So yeah, just a lot of stupid reasons and naive ambition of being a teenager. Yeah, and it just sounds cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then Let the Messiah. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Gotta get the Bowie influence in it. You know what I mean? Big time. That was because go on.
Oh, speaking of Caius, yeah, like I went and saw Hermano when I was in my early 30s, and this drunk guy coming up to me and talking to me. I had a cult shirt on. And he kept talking about the cult, and I was like, dude, whatever, you know. It was John Garcia. I didn't realize it was him.
No.
He had a cowboy hat on. So my friends made fun of me. As soon as he got on stage, I was like, oh, fuck, that was John Garcia. So when drunk people come up to you at shows, just, you know, don't blow them off, I guess. You know, it could be the singer. you know.
Lesson learned.
No, that's fair. I've got not I don't know. It's a similar story that I was at Leeds Festival, and this is when I was 11 or 12 years old, and my friend so my mum would hang at the back of the main stage, and then me and my friend would like scooch through everyone, and because we were like kids at the time, everyone, oh yeah, like the little rock kids, yeah, get them to the front. And there were once we were on the barrier, and we were getting squeezed a little bit hard. And my friend Joel, he got really ill. He was like, I feel sick, and the security pulled him over. We got backstage, and anyway, basically it turned out that Dave Grohl had like just walked past us, and we had no idea, but we were both saying how much the bathroom smelled that we were near. And then when we found out that people said that it was Dave Grohl, we both got up and were like, well, we've got to go to the bathroom. Like you've got to go in after Dave Grohl, don't you? Like that's like 12 years old. That'll be my claim to fame. I just had shit where Dave Grohl just did. And I don't think I've ever told that story like publicly, but
that's great. Yeah.
Snaggletooth exclusive.
Yeah. But so we just complained about the long hair dude. And, like,
that's funny.
So, did it take a while of trial and error to arrive at your kind of drum setup with you on the kit and you on the kick drum, or did it kind of happen right away?
It actually didn't. Like, you had the weird idea for the setup.
Yeah, I had that like.
We just like locked in and practiced it until it worked. Because what we originally said was that we had the idea and we were like, it's going out on the line to like do a show under Sky Valley Mistress, like without sort of seeing if it works properly or like play. So we basically like we'll do a show but under a totally different band name. We'll just book a casual gig, whatever, it'll all be cool. And then we got this email from Masters of the Riff, which is this festival down in London, and they emailed us and they were like, would you like to be the opener for the festival? And we just immediately replied back and was like, yeah, we'll do it. And then it was in like 4 months time.
Yeah, there was some really cool bands like Gnome playing on the bill, and like so we like
we just wanted to do it, and then actually was like, oh shit, we haven't actually practiced.
We don't have a band.
We don't have a show
at all.
Yeah, so we were like, yeah, we're a 2-piece now, is that cool? They're like, yeah, cool. So we did the show.
Well, that wasn't initially. We just said and then it was a little bit later that the realization hit us.
Yeah, so we didn't really have time to come up with a plan B. We just had to make sure plan A worked.
But like you said it before about like necessity, the other thing was that because I was the original drummer, and I think Kay like really understood this whole sort of view with it, was that like I didn't want to do a backing track, didn't want to use like samples or like clicks or whatever. Like to me, like in a rock band, like the drummer is the beating heart. Like I used to push and pull songs and play them deliberately out of time. And do all those things, and that to me, like live drums in a room with that air like pushing about, like that's what rock music is.
Off the people that are in front of you. If you're playing to a backing track, you're not locking in with the audience as much. You know what I mean? Like if they're giving you more, you're probably going to play the song a bit too fast, and it's like you got to sort of lean into the chaos of like. I mean, especially me when we first started out, it's like I'd start playing a song and go, I can't actually play this song that fast, so I'm gonna have to figure that out.
Whilst I'm screaming at her on stage to play fast. I love to rush a song, and but that was the whole sort of like ideology behind it. So that was all sort of locked in place from like day one. We just had to put in the work to make it work, basically. And and now we're just at about
and that's why you ended up on the kick drum, because we were sort of like, this is the quickest way for us to play, and also like because I was the front person, that I could still stand up and not be sat down and feel like a complete change, and I didn't have to figure out how to play the kick drum as well.
Again,
I that was a time saver.
I said it before about like my naive ambition. That was me going, well, like, you don't do the coordination. I was a drummer, so I can play guitar and kick drum at the same time. That'll be fine. No.
No.
Like, people talk to us like after a show, like, oh, it's really incredible what you do. I'm like, I still don't understand what I do.
No.
Like, and I don't mean it in a egotistical way. It genuinely.
No, it's in a way because like people say, I've never seen anyone play drums the way you do. I'm like, well, no one's stupid enough to do it like that.
That's
like,
it. Yeah.
There's just one drummer for a reason.
Yeah. Like going through this, like, you know, I mean, no, I absolutely love the way that we play it. And I would say that, like, maybe I'd change it, you know, if I'd known how difficult it was. But the work has made it more enjoyable. And what I really love is that I don't think I would have enjoyed just transferring onto guitar, still holding on to the kick drum and having something like visceral to play, because I've come from drum world. Like, if I want to go louder, I'll hit harder, and you can always hit a little bit harder. And that's why I like rock music.
That's why you break strings.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that's it. The guitar, once you're at max volume, that's it. You've hit like so that kick drum like levels me out, because I can always stamp on that a little bit harder, and it helps me feel connected and grounded to the thing that I ultimately really love. But yeah, the guitar does take a bit of a bruising. It's like the last show we played, I broke 2 strings. The pedal board decided to die because I think I was stamping on that a bit rough.
Didn't you break 3 strings on that show? Did you change a string?
No, it was just 2.
Oh, right.
It was the show before where I managed to, because we stand so close, my headstock, you know, with all the tuning pegs, that's right next to Kay's cymbal, and I was throwing it down like a hammer on there.
Guitar as a drumstick.
Yeah, you know. And and I managed to break a tuning peg off, and so that really confused me. Yeah, I was like, just at the point where I was ready to like do a guitar solo, I was like, oh, I've got no E string, I've got no tuning peg. Like we are, but that's the danger and the scary bit that makes the live show exciting. How do you react from it? Like, what do? You don't let it sink. You don't like because if you play to a backing track, the show is the show. It's going to be that block, and it's going to be that thing, and it'll be the same thing every time. And it's that humanist.
Yeah, even if we play the same set, I think you're never going to see the same show. Because
no, you can't.
We never know exactly. Usually something does go wrong, but you never know. It will always be something new, you know. I don't know. I'm the kind of person that'll put my hand in the fire twice just to check that it's hot. And when things go wrong, I really enjoy it. Like, at the same time, I am panicking, and, you know, I'm like severely stressed. It's Kay looking at me looking at Kay, and whilst I'm trying to do like 3 things at once, trying to communicate to her, like, I ain't got a fucking tuning peg, I don't know what we're doing next. And then she's like, you know, you're trying to give it the look whilst the song's going on and you're doing all this other stuff. But then it's people seeing how we deal with the problems that we create for ourselves. Yeah.
You know, that's what a Sky Valley Mistress show is. It's pretty wild. It's a fun ride. You know, but
we need more of that. We need more in this age of fakeness and AI. We need more of that. You know,
exactly.
That AI can't screw up like we do.
But it's the same thing with like our records and stuff. It's like the whole time we were making the album, everything was focused on making the physical product. You know, we wanted it, like, we were always thinking about how the experience would be for a fan getting the vinyl record. And that's why we like pushed our record label to like, we want a foil cover, gatefold, colored vinyl. We want a 3D mausoleum in it. You know, we want the full thing so you can sit there and experience it in the real world in real time. You know,
right? Yeah.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah. Let's talk about the hearse.
I don't know anyone who does hearse outside of Claire from 6 Feet Under. You're familiar with that?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We've had a few Ghostbusters.
We like to call it the curse of the hearse.
That's why strings get broken
and the hearse breaks down.
Yeah, the hearse broke down on our last tour. That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
How long was it? 32 hours before we got home.
Yeah, 32-hour recovery.
Yeah, that was hefty. But the hearse. I again, classic example of I wrote the song Thundertaker, and I thought, oh, wouldn't that be like a cool name for a hearse? I found out since that there is a hearse, a Cadillac hearse from the 60s that is called a Thundertaker.
Which look so cool.
Yeah, they've got the suicide doors. They're amazing. I didn't know this. Hopefully they're not going to sue us one day. But I said it to Karen. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had a hearse called Thundertaker? And then it was like a week later, we were driving down to this like ex-funeral director's, picking up a jackass
that we found on eBay.
Yeah, that was it. It was that simple, and it all just like fell into place. They're cheaper than a van to buy, not to run. No. But and it really, that maybe apart from the Flying V, it is like the coolest thing that I own. It comes with its frustrations, and like trying to load in at the end of a gig like that way, having to climb into it to put all your stuff instead of just putting it in a van in it. But also it comes with its pros in that I become a really obnoxious driver, and everyone gives way to me, or at least I assume they're going to give way to me. You don't have roundabouts, but on a roundabout, you're not meant to stop. You're meant to go around. If you're on the roundabout, you have priority. Okay. But we'll be coming up to a roundabout, and the amount of people that have stopped on the roundabout to let us out and do our thing.
Yeah, I'm like,
and then it's great. We've seen it a few times where we've then drove past. They've seen that it's full of like fucking drums and guitars and not a dead body, and then the confusion. There's too many questions before it goes by.
Or when I'm smoking them in the fast lane. Without instruments in that thing can shift. It's got a V6 engine, so it's not shy when you put your foot down. It's not economical.
No, but we've always been low-vital citizens.
I recycle and stuff. So.
Yeah.
There's a truck I run by on my jog all the time, and it always sits there, and it has, for some reason, a skeleton strapped into the passenger seat all of the time, and it makes me jump every time.
Yeah, that's the carpool thing. That's the American thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So if you could stick one of them back there.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant. I mean, we used to play in white, and when we'd finish a show, we'd drive on the motorway, and then you'd line yourself up with another car and get about even, so you're in the dark, because we don't have any street lamps on the motorway anymore, so it's pretty dark. And you'll line up with them, and then like the button for the light, because you can put your hands like right up, it's not a low ceiling, so you get a really good spotlight. You'll wait till you're just about lined with their thing, get the retention bit, because they'll see you in the dark, and then you flick the light on, and like you all in white, all sweaty and bedraggled after a rock show, staring at them in a hearse, freaks people out. It's a good one to boost morale, when you've got a big film after a show. Get some
I love
can't do with
so hearse. I definitely think I love the blend that you guys have, and I went back and listened to Faceless Rituals, and there's a lot of great stuff there. But this album, it's like takes it from great to like something beyond. It really pushes you out. You went a little harder into the jazz. I love fusing the jazzy moments in with the kind of stoner rock moments. But there's gothic in here too. What percentage goth would you say you guys are?
We can say we're 100% because we've got another hair story. When we pulled up to the studio to record the album in the hearse, getting all the gear out.
Which was a studio called The Nave in Leeds, which is it was a church. So we're pulling up in our hearse outside a church to go and record our album, which felt quite appropriate.
And I think it was you and John who were outside, the guy who produced the record, and a cyclist drove past and had to like swerve because of the hearse piped up, and turned around and just shouted "goth pricks," and so that's been our like little like
we're the goth pricks.
Yeah, that's our nickname.
That's the name of our WhatsApp group.
Yeah. So yeah, 100% goth, 100%. Yeah.
That reminds me, we just had Lesbian Bed Death on the show last week, and Dan has a guitar that's a Baphomet, like a skull.
It's a goat.
It was a goat, right?
That's
and
cool.
he was telling us about it. He had it made out of wood from an old church, right?
Yeah.
And the eyes glow and everything.
It's a thing.
And I said in the interview, I said, so every time you play it, you're blaspheming. And I don't think he had ever thought of it that way before. He was like, oh my God, you're right.
Yes. That's more goth than us. Yeah.
Exactly.
We make cyclists complain. We're not quite shredding on like holy wood. No.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Or like your
But,
anti.
go on. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
Oh, it's crazy. So I love, like I said, that really distinctive jazz, like the Exit List and No Sleep with the kind of smoky, jazzy, along with those. You seem to stick with a format where the chorus is what hits you over the head. It's a great contrast. Is that consciously how you go into writing those kind of songs, or does it just kind of happen organically?
No, I feel like we've been like usually quite bad at writing choruses.
So I think with this album, I think the thing that I personally wanted to spend a lot of attention or like focus on was melody, because I felt like I really love our first album, but I felt like we underutilized Kay. I mean, her voice is ridiculously amazing, and it like we were coming towards the end of making this album, and I was like looking at the song list. And I realized, like, none of the songs are easy to sing. No. I wanted melodies that, I can sing with crowds and enjoy those moments together. And, like, every song has got a bit that's just, like, fucking up there, But, yeah, so some of the songs are, like one of the songs, Live Past Life, I had since I was... a teenager. That riff that was sort of holding on and kind of came back, but everything was focused on the melody, making sure that Kay was at the front of everything and I'm just supporting her, and it kind of just naturally sort of found
I think with that we then like naturally ended up creating better choruses, because if you're focusing on the melody, like that's what the hook is in the chorus and it's in the melody, so it wasn't something we were aware that we didn't really like focus on the melody, focus on the chorus in the first record, but it wasn't like when we're writing like we have to sort out the chorus. I think it's just like you just naturally progress in your sort of writing.
I think you mature a bit. I think it wasn't that we were trying to be like little pop sellouts or whatever. It's just that I like a song that I can sing along to and that's memorable and that's
that's it. Anytime that we're writing a song, we always imagine that we're the ones
in the crowd.
That's
what dictates.
When we're stuck, it's like what would I want to happen if I was in the crowd now? Like, what am I waiting for?
That really is it. It's like, so a lot of the time, if I've got some nice, delicate, quiet bit, it's usually why it doesn't stay quiet for long, because what do I want in the crowd? Fucking give me something heavy now. Let's go. Right, brilliant. Right. And because I'm over 30 now, just go back quiet for 30 seconds. Let me catch my breath, and then we'll do a riff again. So maybe that's why it kind of started following that format a bit. But it wasn't until hindsight that I realized that there's some sort of patterns with that. But you know what I mean? That kind of happens when you make art. Sometimes you come back and you reflect on it.
Yeah, you've got to sort of, when it's happening, try not to overanalyze it.
You just do what feels right. A lot of our choices musically are done on feeling, not on sort of analysing and figuring out. Yeah, it's like what just feels good. We start trying to just make noise and make things happen, whether we're singing or drumming or whatever.
And it's that, you can see it, like when we're sort of, that when you can't help but smile at the end of something, like that's when you know that.
Yeah. Every band knows it. If you're getting the giggles and you're all laughing together, you're onto something good. So that's what we chase, I think that explains the question.
Yeah, I love, like, I think you guys there have a very unique blend. I think the closest I would come would be Mesa when they go into their jazzier moments and then kind of, but they're more like alt rock. So you guys are still very different. Do either of you have a jazz background or a Whiplash teacher hiding in your closet?
Well, we both really like Sabbath, which I think then blends into jazz origins.
Yeah, I think a lot of a lot of the early like hard rock bands that became metal, they all had like, you know, and like Zeppelin as well. It's like you just got a jazz drummer at the back that's swinging it, and that's something I do listen to a lot of music. You listen to a lot of music, but I wouldn't say that we're directly like trying to put a jazzy thing into what we're doing. You know, like influences kind of just merge and sort of come together sort of naturally sometimes. But we definitely, in terms of the drums and how songs swing and groove, we do spend a lot of attention making sure those details are like just right. Because so like for example, like with Paranoid by Sabbath, a lot of drummers, you watch them play and the drummer's playing like really like tight eighth notes on the hi-hat. They're going like but it's like if you listen to Bill Ward, he's swinging that thing like a jazz drummer. It's big quarters. He's got a big old swing on him. And what's been great about having Kay on the drums is that she's been so sympathetic and understanding of those details, so that when we've come to play these songs live, she knows how to get that like that groove just right. So that kind of like attitude towards rhythm and stuff definitely has its roots somewhere in jazz because of the people we're pulling from. But yeah, I didn't listen to some sweet licks by Miles Davis and go, yeah, I'm just gonna pop that one in. Like I'm not that skilled.
Yeah, no, you're right. Those first 3 Sabbath albums, especially, Bill Ward is very jazzy sounding. Very, you know, it's a big part of the sound. Yeah.
You listen to like the solo on Rat Salad. He's such an underrated drummer. The things like the live in Paris, like like people,
And I think that's the thing that sort of opens it out a little bit more. Like, you know, straight ahead rock music is like everyone's going to jump and get in the pit, and like that's what they want to do. But I think if you add that little bit of swing, it's like people can dance if you want to dance, people can jump if you want to jump, but like everyone's enjoying themselves, and it's like ultimately I like a bit, you know, I like dancing in a show, I like grooving, like that's the thing that's gonna broaden your what people are into, and I think
that's how you get the people from the back in, you know. You see, you know, you get the hips moving, and without them realizing they're taking a few steps forward, by the end of the show they're here, you know. That's the kind of idea. If you get things swinging, no one can say no, you know. But yeah, it's that mix of like the early jazz influences on those like early heavy rock bands, and you mix that with the blues, and it that's the thing. We listen to a lot of music and a lot of different things, but we always say that we're a rock and roll band because it still has its heart in the blues, and there's something about that like makes me feel a certain way that other music doesn't want to perform. Like, I mean, I will play anything, but like when I, you know, a loud electric guitar, and when you've just got a good groove, and that's why when I was a teenager, I was always searching for that different kind of heavy. I felt like everyone was, when I was growing up, like they were too to the grid. Everything was too straight and perfect. And then when I heard Caius and everyone's just slinking about, it was like, oh, like that's it. That's it. It's got melody. It's got groove. It's like it's fucking there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to sort of assess your own sort of like artistic tastes and things. You know, all the best things usually happen when they just happen. You know, and then beautiful people like you say loads of gorgeous words about it, and
you make us sound really
like we know what we're doing. We definitely don't. You know, I don't know how we got to the moon.
We definitely have to talk about Too Many Ghosts, which is one of those that instead of that push-pull, it just pops and moves the whole way. Talk about like getting you moving. It just, and I love the video for that. Where did you come up with that concept? It almost seems like a dream because it kind of starts and ends with the same thing.
Yeah. So, right. So when we come to record music videos, a lot of the time it's based on budget and location, because of where we're from, there's not a lot of places that you can shoot that look great. Like, go to America, like everyone over here, we all grew up watching movies, so you can shoot on any street, and we all think it
There's a lot
looks
more
great.
open road than what we
Yeah. You know, you go in the middle of the desert, looks sick. You know,
Right.
you go to a council estate like in northwest England, and it ain't gonna look good. You know, or fit with our band. But no, so we had the hair, so we had to use that. We had the spacesuit, so again, so much of our choices come from necessity and what we can do with that. And I think in the same way that, like, you know, like the White Stripes do the 3 colors, base everything on 3, they give themselves a box to work within. I'd say that's the only similarity that we have with them as like a duo, that we went, right, we've got all these things, what are we going to do? It took 5 separate recording weekends to shoot, and we didn't get any footage in the first 4.
I think we got a bit in the 4th.
No, I think we got like 1 shot, and then the sun went down.
Yeah,
the hearse broke down. Our videographer forgot the memory card after driving an hour and a half out to where we were going to shoot. I can't remember what else happened.
We were in a different location at first, and then
then we had
some drug dealers moved us on
very politely. They said, what are you doing here? We said, we're going to start recording a music video. And they're like, no, you're not. We're like, we are.
No, you're right.
I'm not going to let you know that I have a really expensive guitar in the back of this house. We're just going to keep driving.
Wow.
So there's a few stories with that. But then,
And then my zip broke on my spacesuit.
Oh, God.
Wow.
You did so well. We were testing, so we had like
it broke in the morning, and then we actually got most of the footage.
She didn't drink all day, and then we were trying to shoot and set up all the, like the mounting system on the side of the hearse and whatever. And then we just kind of got everything right. I think we shot you did 1 like lap of the place that we were at, like up and down this big long road. And then came back and you're like, I've really got to go to the bathroom.
No, we finished all the shoot, and then we were going to do the night shoot.
Oh, no, that was it.
Like, if we're shooting into the
yeah.
night, I've got to go to the bathroom. And I was like, just slow, easing my way out of it. And then I went to zip it back up, and it all just fell apart. I was like,
no.
we're going home, guys. I need to go to a seamstress.
It was like Sunday at like 6 o'clock, and we were up in the moors, in the middle of like nowhere, and But the concept and the idea, it was all with those factors. What can we do that looks cool? And and obviously it's called Too Many Ghosts, so you know you had to play on the fact that I'm there but I'm not. I'm dead but I'm alive, and I don't know. It just sort of happened. And
also you can't mime to your own songs when we're not a full band and we record it like a full band. So we can't do that either.
That's it. You can't do the performance thing, and I have kind of a weird little gripe about. I have full respect to anyone who plays all the instruments on a record because I know how hard it is. But when they do a video and it's like they're showing them playing the bass when they don't normally play the bass, I'm like, I don't know. It's not for me. If it's a performance video, I want to see a whole band rocking together, not one person, edited together loads of times. It's a different vibe. But I don't know. It was those sorts of things, weren't it? And then and I have a real obsession with 90s music videos because I grew up in the MTV generation and stuff. Do you know Kerrang magazine? That was
Oh yeah.
Oh right, yeah, okay. So Kerrang had a music video channel and Skulls. I used to just live on those until the early hours of you know what I mean? That was my life. And so I watched a lot of 90s music videos, and so there's a lot of influence from that of I like videos that tell a story or have some sort of narrative, and a little twist in them that makes it cool. So that was the whole idea with the start and the end. But
and it was all a dream.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that cliche. Yeah, just a bit of fun.
Well, we've noticed, I particularly noticed with bands like yours, the videos that are being made now, because it's all about what you can afford. Videos are a lot better now, I think, than they were back in the, I remember in the mid 90s, I was like, all right, the Megadeth video looks just like the Gin Blossoms video, looks just like the Alice in Chains video. Because it was they were all dressed the same same shots, because it's the same directors, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
spending millions of dollars on these videos. They all look the same, you know. But now they're much more creative because it's like anything goes, you know. So,
Yeah, you gotta figure out what you can do with what you have and what time you have. And for us as well, I know that obviously cameras are so accessible and anyone could film, but it's like we try to respect. What we love about being in a band is that you can do sort of any art form. That's why we wanted to be in a band. You know, you can
Right.
make a mausoleum that goes in your record. You can record an album. You make music videos. You can make posters, whatever. But like, you got to respect each medium that you're doing, and you've got to get someone in that knows the shit. And Aaron Dunleavy, who shot the video, he's absolutely amazing, but he's also like a super busy dude. And he's always great. He always does us some sort of favor, but it's so. But then with that, you've got to work around schedules and
Right.
you know everything else like that. And but that's the cool little box that you put yourself in, and you go right. Well, what can I make with
and
this?
it's deciding like what you're going to sacrifice and what you need
Yeah.
to make it work. You know.
But then what I love is that from that you end up learning so much. And Aaron's really cool. He's so laid back and almost like he's not there until he needs to be there. So like
until the sun's gone.
yeah. So when we were doing that nighttime shot, obviously I'm not looking through the lens. I have no idea what it looks like. I didn't realize how much time we had before it goes dark. I don't know how to use all that stuff. And he started barking orders at me. Yeah. He was freaking on it, and getting pretty. He was like a sergeant with me, wasn't he? 'Cause it was fucking freezing. Like if you look at that video, there are no clouds in the sky. We were up in the middle of the moors. That was like, was it like February?
No, it was a bit late when we did
Bit late. It was still fucking cold, and
Oh,
I'm in a
yeah.
spacesuit with no else underneath. You know, it was cold. Like if you watch closely on that video, I am not playing the right guitar part. It's like my fingers had seized up like completely. And I was like, I did like one thing. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm not like really playing the right part. I think I dropped my pick. It's like, doesn't matter. We've got the shot. Next one. Like, go. And then when we saw it all together, it was like, whoa. And like, we had no idea that the sky looked that great. And, you know, he didn't explain anything. He knew that we had a set amount of time and he got it done. So, yeah, it was really cool. We're really proud of that video. Yeah. It's, it's made us weirdly, what's the word, like aware of the fact that we've got to make another one now because
we've accidentally set the bar.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's the beautiful thing is that before that, I won't go into all the details because I've yapped enough, but there was a lot more to the storyboard. I usually write out like a full storyboard scene by scene. I'll send it to Aaron like, what do you think of this? And what I've learned is that he never directly says it, but as things move and we shoot things, so much of the bulk of what I have down doesn't get filmed, and he manages to just like consolidate it into its purest, simplest idea. And then when you watch it, you're like, shit, that is all it needs. Like, it didn't need all that fluff and the faff and a bit where the song stops and then we have a 4-minute like dialogue, you know, whatever. You know, like, let's make this a movie. He keeps things to its purest essence. He's a dude.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'd love to take more credit for that, but he fine-tuned it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Used it. Sorry, I've waffled. Can you tell that the band is
no.
my favorite subject?
Yeah. Well, I had wanted to ask Kaylee where the nickname Hellkitten came from.
It came pretty early on, didn't it? Like when we were playing, so we started out and like the first few shows, you know, being at the front and not having an instrument and not really having a background in being on stage is a very like, you know, you're very exposed and it's a very nerve-wracking feeling, and it was sort of, you know, you have to sort of put a different face on. You have to sort of, you know, I'm a little bit quiet off stage, you know, I'll speak if I feel like it, but generally I don't always feel like speaking. But when I go on stage, like all of a sudden I'm there and I'm like, when I was, you know,
free to roam.
Yeah, before I was tied down to the kit, you know, I was like making eye contact with everyone and like prowling the stage, because I had to be, not I had to be, but like it just was sort of, you're on stage now, you're not, it's a different person. You're unbridled, you know what I mean? Like you can be whoever you want to be, and it's a really it's a great feeling. You know, there's no social constraints, there's no etiquette. Like you're here to set whatever you want to put out to everyone else, and then you gave me you gave me the nickname.
I think so. Yeah. It was from the way that she prowled on stage, and that I think. Well, I remember the early days that so many people would speak to me first after a gig, or one of the other guys in the band, and they'd be like, is Kay cool? Like, am I all right to speak to her? I'm like, yeah, she's a very nice lady. And then you could see, like, people are apprehensive to, like, talk to her.
You're intimidating.
Demon, you know what I mean? View on stage. And, and then, like, the Hellkitten stuck. Like, that's what she is. And then we got her a back patch made for a leather jacket with like it was based on like I don't know if you've heard of Man's Ruin Records.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like their cat, so we did like a bastardized version of that and called it a Hellkitten, and and then that obviously stuck and people loved it because she literally was, and like genuinely, like I've seen some of the footage from the early days, and like I get why people were like frightened of her. That, and she does jiu-jitsu, so she can kick your ass.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm well aware of it. Stay in the light.
I wish people wouldn't talk to me so much. If I'm grocery shopping, some old guy will pull me up and want to know what I think the better buy on paper towels. I'm like, what? What are you talking to me about? And of course, I'll try to help him. I'm like, well.
Oh, and also, this is interesting, right? Like we're at the point now we've been doing the show long enough. When we go to festivals, sometimes people recognize us and they'll come up and talk and like tell us things they liked. I didn't bargain for that. I don't. She has to do it. Like she's a hugger. She takes over. I'm like, dude, I'm here to see Napalm Death. I'm not here to. Who are you? I don't know. I didn't know that about. Careful.
No, I think we're quite similar. I mean, obviously, once I start talking about the band, I'll never shut up. But like daily life, like people say it to us about like how our careers have gone, and some people listen to the record, and it's it's really nice. Oh, you should be playing these sort of stages and doing this and stuff, and I don't mind it because I'm really happy with how even with the circumstances we've still produced something that I'm really proud of, but also that I still get to just be me undercover. No one gives a shit about.
You want your music to like reach people and make a difference, but then when people are like, "You're incredible," you're like, "Whoa, no, I'm not."
Like, I have no idea. Yeah,
please stop saying nice things to me.
We have a few fans.
Like we're from the north of England, and like our terms of endearment are like taking the piss out of our mates. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The person you love is the fucking biggest cunt, We don't. Yeah, it doesn't sit with us. Yeah, we have a few fans that are really really nice, but I've not figured out how to take a compliment and it not make me like my face flush the same color as my hair. And again, it's that thing when people think that you're really talented, and it's like I have no idea what I'm doing, just making it up as I go along, But no, it is cool, and when people are into it and stuff, I'm never gonna turn anyone away that like wants to say that, like the thing that's blown me away with this record is when people have like had such an emotional reaction, like when we put it out, the response and what people said was just like, it was quite overwhelming. We had quite a few people who like directly emailed us, fans that have been around for a long time, and we had one guy and he sent like, I've still not replied to it and I feel so guilty about it, but it was so... Well, we were meant
to see him in London and then the house broke.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And it was so long, and it was like a full astronaut like mission report, like getting the record,
oh wow,
every song, and it like blew me away, and I don't know, like that's meant for, you know, people like Queens of the Stone Age and whatever. Like, you know, I've still got a job that people don't know that I play an instrument there. You know, I'm like,
Right.
let me just do that.
Yeah.
So I do have itching burning for Too Many Ghosts. Is that bass solo a direct nod to Sabotage, or is it just another fabulous bass solo?
Do you know what? Right. Someone else has said this. It wasn't until afterwards that I love that song. Someone else said it. Oh, what was the other song that someone else said it sounded like? And then that blew me away. Again, just influences that have come in. But I know that when we were recording it, we had a tone, and we were like, it's cool, but it's like, you know, it's not like hitting that hard. And I have a pee cabinet that's like 2 15-inch speakers. It's like a Black Widow one. It's like a big old one. And I was like, I want to record with that. And Joe was like, oh man, like it's fucking heavy. Like, no, it'll be worth it. And because we were doing some dubs, and I brought it to this other studio and like carried it down these fucking stairs and did all the thing, plugged it in, got the mic on it. And then we because we reamped the thing and like the bass, and then put it through it. And then it was like, it had not even played like a second. And he looked at me and was like, yeah, that was worth the effort. Like, good shout.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do what you got to do. So thank you. So that you made it worth it carrying that thing down the stairs.
Okay, cool.
It was not like.
It was funny because I had just we also talked to Hell Freaks a long time ago, and they do a cover of this, and they do that great. And I had just had it on, and then I had your album on, and he went, they do a cover of this too? I'm like, no.
Because I only heard that one part, right? Yeah.
Accidental rip.
Yeah.
And I have to ask, though, about No Sleep. Are you honestly somehow excited that someone gets no rest? You sound kind of happy about that.
Yeah. Do you know what? Out of all the lyrics of the album, those lyrics, I'd had them sort of sat for a while, and normally when I write words, a lot of the time I'll start something for a song, or Kay will kind of just riff a melody. I'm like, Kay, don't think about what you're saying, just do it. And she might make certain sounds or whatever, or say words, and I'll take those, and then I'll start something, and then I bring it back to Kay, and I'm like, I need a second verse. This is sort of my themes. This is what I'm on about. Blah blah blah. What do you think works? But No Sleep was a really weird song in that, like, I kind of wrote it just first time. It just sort of happened, and I didn't really know what it was about. So obviously, the whole record is about the first album and how things happened and, you know, turned out. But that was written way before it, and it was weird how the lyrics like fell in place with the whole theme of the record. But the honest truth of the subject of that song is that I heard the story about Foo Fighters all my life. Do you know what that song's about? Have you heard the story about what Dave Grohl wrote that about?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
It's about going down on a girl, apparently. That's
okay.
what I heard. Yeah. And
Which
then,
song? Which Foo Fighters song?
All My Life. You know.
Oh, okay. All My Life.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, I love it, but I hate the taste. I'll say no more. And then so I decided to write my own version of one of those songs. So that's what that was originally about. But then when we put it in the context of this album, it was really weird because every line suddenly meant something completely different, and it was weird. It was like I wrote this like naive, you know, song about something else, but actually it means this. So, but that's the beauty of rock and roll. It's as dumb as it is smart. You know, it's the stupid little tricks and strange things that are actually like shit. Like, how did they come up with that? Yeah, that's making me sound like I'm way better than I actually am. Yeah, it's just words. Yeah.
Reminded me of the soup Nazi instead of, you know, no soup for you. No sleep for you. No sleep for you.
Right.
Yeah, so Joe, who produced the record, he's a big fan of the Seinfeld. Yeah. So yeah, we've not heard the end of that ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole time we were recording that, like, every time in my cans from him, like, just, yeah. Anyway.
So I think White Knight is probably your best vocal, which is saying something on this album. It reminded me of like when someone's on like American Idol and they're belting out for their life on the show and then they drop the mic at the end. That's just what that performance reminded me of. Did you set out to kind of make that one like a show-stopping moment, or is it just kind of something that happened?
I mean, it's a big song to sing, you know, and it's not actually my best take of that.
Yeah.
Of that song. So when we were recording in Leeds, the engineer was a guy called Danny. He's from a really great band called Adult DVD. And I went into the room and Max said to Danny, he was like, we'll get some levels, you know, obviously. And Max was like, whatever she sings, she's going to be much louder on the actual.
Yeah, you did a few warm-ups. Well, you've done a few warm-ups. She's still sort of doing some bits more, and then she was singing the chorus, and he's setting the gain, and it was like a beautiful. I think it's like what is it? The Neumann microphone, so they're really sensitive, and I'm telling him, I'm like, no, I'm like, trust me, man.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
like,
I was actually ill when we were recording in Leeds as well.
Wow.
So like, I had a bad throat and stuff. So I was like, I've only got one take to do this, and then like that's all you're gonna get.
We do nickname a one take K in the studio because that's usually all it takes. Yeah. It's like we are not the same. K just has this magical gift of just being the best at everything. I do not. But I told him a few times, like, rein it in, honestly.
He underestimated the fact.
Yeah. He was like, no, it's going to be fine. I like, seriously, man, you don't know how loud this girl can sing. Like, she is going to...
But I did it, and, like, I...
Absolutely distorted everything.
I did nail it, and it was a great take. Because, I mean, what's really important with that song is that it needs to sound, like, bad in that it's got to be on the edge. You know, because it's so raw and emotional. Like, you've got to give everything. That's why you've only got one take.
Well, in the same sense, we kept talking about "Gimme Shelter," didn't we? That was a big influence. You know, the vocals on that, how she's proper on the edge of a voice and almost like breaking.
You've got the Floyd as well. You know?
Yeah, of course.
So we did it, and it was so distorted. We were like, "Is it cool distorted?" And we were like, no, it's bad distorted. It definitely doesn't work. But then I think I had to do that. We spent a few days finishing the record in Namouche in Lisbon, and because I think we tried it a few other times while we were in Leeds, and we didn't. Like, I was just too ill. Yeah. So we had to come back to it. And yeah, what I like about it is that it is, you know, it's not, you know, technically perfect, but that's what makes it right. You know, it's finding that balance.
I think a lot of other bands, and I think it's such common practice now, you know, just put a little bit of auto-tune here, whatever, and do this. It's like we had real strict intentions from the start of this record that we'll decide if we sound good enough. Like,
Right.
If not, I'll practice more and I'll get better, because it's all about reducing the amount of things between the emotional intent of me or you and the listener, you know. So that's what it is, and I think that's what comes across, you know. But yeah, she's just an absolute wicked demon with like monstrous pipes. It's just this is what I mean. None of the songs on the album are easy to sing. It's ridiculous, you know. Like, I've tried to do that in the shower.
That's why she's the Hellkitten. That's why she's the Hellkitten.
Exactly.
So for House of the Moon, who had the idea to be like, you know what we need? Let's kidnap a children's choir.
You know how we like to hit all the cliches? That was one of them that was on the tick list. So.
Yeah, again, that was a stupid idea. Wouldn't it be really cool if we had like a kids choir? You know, rock bands do that. You gotta have a kids choir on one of the songs. I think.
And then my primary school were into the idea. So
yeah, and like they practiced. It was so cute, and what was brilliant was that when we went to record, was that I think they were all so shy and nervous that they sang it so what's the word? Almost without emotion. You know, they were all sort of just stuck still.
Like a bit robotic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like and
That's kind of what made it cool. You know, you can't recreate the innocence of children singing together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It had this like I don't know, just this. Well, the thing was, the whole album has like a Pink Floyd influence, which is weird because I'm not a huge Pink Floyd fan. I like a lot of the ideas and the things that they do, but like they're not a band that I go to listen to. But like obviously, you make an album called Luna Mausoleum, you gotta pay some respects to the dark side.
Yeah, you gotta have a look at the dark side.
Yeah, you know. I mean, even though the Kids Choir is on Brick of the Wall. See, I know,
yeah.
I do know my point.
The kids thing, that's more of a Bob Ezrin thing than a Pink Floyd thing, right? Because
Yeah,
because he's got it on like Kiss albums and stuff too. And I always wondered, did he just like not have babysitters? Were his kids always just like hanging around the studio and you know what, get over here and sing, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but yeah, again, just crazy ideas of like, well, it was like everything that we did. We would start one thing with the album, and then it would turn out so much better than we imagined. That then the next thing we were like, well, we can't half-ass that. We've got to make, and then everything just kept building up, and it's why on the front of the mausoleum on the thing it says "Greater and Beyond All Reason," and we use it as like a tagline with like a lot of our merchandise and stuff, because that genuinely became like the weird mantra of everything. Like, that's what we're doing. Like, if we're driving a hearse to the fucking moon, like, we're not half-assing this. Like, we're gonna do it properly. Like, greater and beyond all reason. Okay, and we'd also like to remind each other about that. Usually during like one of our lows or one of the hardest bits, like when you're carrying a huge PV down a load of stairs to do a bass track. No, you say great. Yeah, I've got to make the best of. Okay, you know. So yeah, it was just one of those. Everything took a step further than we thought, and yeah,
that's great.
So, Max, I have to ask you because Mark used to have his hair red like yours. I had to do half. He always wanted me to redo the red constantly, and he's having to sit on the commode, and I'm having to redo it. Do you have trouble keeping it in?
No, I have a really good stylist too, and I've known him since I was 12 years old. I call him my stylist. He wouldn't call like himself. That's like, but yeah. He lives close enough, and he knows that
it's a good toner. That's
yeah. I can't remember what brand it is, but yeah, it keeps it looking all right. But yeah, the red came. I used to have the half and half long, and yeah, fuck that, never again.
Yep.
It just seemed like I was always like I would work out a lot or run, and every time I showered, it was turning pink, like I was losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, like every pillow I sleep on is
right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember this one time I went to this plaza to shop. I needed two things. I went to Sally and got hair dye, and then I went to Harbor Freight and bought tools. And I thought, I'm probably the only man that's ever gone to these two places in one time.
Love that. Yeah. That's it. What a man. That's what you are.
That's a man's man right there. Yeah. So. Anyway.
All right, so we play a game on the show. Normally it's 5 random questions with Stace, which is me. But since there's 2 of you, I want each of you to pick 3 numbers between 1 and 100 that will correspond to random questions.
Yeah.
Oh.
113 and 72.
113, 72.
That happened like really fast.
7, 29, and 17.
All right.
I don't know.
We'll start with 1. Whether we actually going to talk about this, but what do you think is the worst hair color or haircut that you ever had, Max?
I can give you a good one. So, what? Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I used to have alopecia, so I had like bald spots in the back of my head. So one of my worst haircuts was trying to style that out, I got the hairdresser to like shave them into planets and like do one with a ring and, you know, like add stars on the back of my head because I was really self-conscious of it. It didn't look like planets. It just made it look worse. And I remember I was like 7, 8 years old, and I you know, I got bullied at school for it, but like I didn't even argue about it. I'm like, yeah, like that is not, it's not all right, that is it. So there's that. I also, when I left, so we have like primary and secondary school. So are you like 11 years old and you go to the next one?
Yeah.
Primary school, you're allowed to dye your hair. I dyed my hair.
No, you're not at most primary school.
Well, yeah, ours was pretty lax
Yours
and
was
chill.
different.
But I had bright blue on the side, and then I found out when you go to high school, oh, you're not allowed to dye your hair anymore. So my mother decided to try and dye the blue out and turn it brown. She did not. That it was like a hot orange. And
wow.
Yeah, picture day was like the second day into school. So I am there, and I've just got this horrible orange streak that, yeah, like it, honestly, and like just going to a brand new school, you know, like loads of new kids there, and yeah, that was the worse than the alopecia probably. But yeah, so I've had many, you know.
You were an astronaut even then.
Yeah, exactly. I really should just do it all, but one day maybe.
All right, you picked 13. Have you ever walked into a glass door or wall?
Hundreds of times. Yeah. Like, ready, just to bring more violence out for people to feel sorry for me. I have a problem called left-sided hemiparesis, which means my left side doesn't work as well as my right. And with that, like some of my spatial awareness, so I really love to walk into door frames a lot. And yeah, anything like that. And
which is also why it's a really, really good idea to stand on his left leg for a whole show playing the kick drum with his right.
Yeah. I am ruining my body for rock and roll. Yeah, I can't think of any specific times that I've done it, but I think the thing that I will say is that how normal my reaction is to tripping up or falling. So like I've done it where I've clipped the edge of a door frame and nearly gone flying and then carried on, or like boshed into a door or whatever. And how so many of my friends like, oh shit, like you okay? And I just get up like no, it's happened, and like no, that's just part of my daily life. Being a fool, not being cool. Yeah.
I feel bad for Stace sometimes because I have a spatial awareness issue too. I don't know what it is, but when I have headphones in, I lose my peripheral vision.
Yeah.
So no matter how she approaches me,
I'm trying to like
ask me a question.
I have a smoothie.
Jesus Christ, you know, like fear goes everywhere, you know. I feel so bad for her because she's trying. She knows I'm going to flip out. I don't see her until she's right here, you know. So yeah, we've had many problems with that.
He's like, "Hi, I'm your wife. I live here."
Just text him.
Yeah.
It's because you're busy focusing on the big ideas. That's what you're doing.
That's what it is. Yeah, I'm not ready for her to walk up behind me with a milkshake, you know. So.
And you picked 72. Do you ever take actual baths or just showers?
I am anti-bath. I am a full shower man.
Hot tub, though.
But yeah, what's the point in a bath when you can have a hot tub? I understand that one's for clean and one's not. But if I'm getting in hot water, I'm getting in a hot tub. Anywhere there is a hot tub, yeah, like I put me in there until I look 90 years old, like happily. Like that is like peak living to me. You know, and a lot of people don't know the difference between a hot tub and jacuzzi. Jacuzzi is the brand. Hot tub is the idea of
right.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I'm anti-bath for men too. I don't understand what the point. I mean, unless you're going to slit your wrist, what the hell are you doing in a bathtub?
or if you're having one with a toaster, you know.
Yeah, with a toaster, right? Okay, right.
And, yeah,
same outcome, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Northwest England, like terrace houses, baths are short. You know, I don't want to be in some lukewarm water that's barely covering my body. You know, and I'm also, if I'm in the shower, that the water is hot. Like
Yeah.
I like it to burn the skin a little bit. You know, then I know that I'm clean. You know what I mean? Take a
Yeah.
layer off, I'm ready to rock. So I'm full shower time.
I think the only time I actually needed a bath, I ran this stupid race where you were in mud, and the guy I was dating at the time, you had to get over these obstacles, tried to like throw me, and I like went in. Like there was nothing you could do because my face was mud, my hands were mud. You're trying to do this. I got mud in places I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Horrible. Horrible.
Sounds like Leeds Festival.
Yeah. That was Leeds Festival when I was a teenager.
All right, Kay's up. She picked 7. If you have ever bartended, do you think you'd be a good one?
I am really good at carrying things, especially when there used to be 4 people in the band. I can confirm I can carry 4 pints at one time without putting my fingers in the actual drink. Like,
Okay.
And I'm good at balancing stuff. So,
Yeah.
And I'm really good at drinking. So if people want to buy me a drink at the same time, we're gonna have a great night. So
That's great.
Yeah.
You are the service queen.
Yeah.
Not a mess. And she can do, you know, when you slide the glass along the table or the bar every time. Like, you know, just those weird things that should have been practiced, not, but whatever the distance, that glass will get to where it needs to be. Just the endless talents of Kay.
I got really drunk one time and she was at work. She sent me home in an Uber and I fell asleep in the Uber. And when the Uber got where I was going, it was an empty parking lot and I thought it was morning. Like I thought we had been driving all night or something. I didn't know where I was. And so the way we tell that story is we say that I drank myself into another time zone.
She's calling me, wanting to know where I am. I'm like, I'm still at work.
Yeah, I felt like I had skipped time or something. You know? And then as soon as she said, Mark, it's only 7 p.m. I was like, all right, I can go drink more then. So I went back to the bar.
Rock and roll, nice. Good dude.
And you picked 29. What's the most ridiculous TikTok videos you secretly like?
You know, I have it's more on Instagram because one of my favorite Instagram accounts is called Kids Getting Hurt. But it's just funny because they're stupid.
You'll be chilling in the green room and then she'll start cackling and you know what. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I have a bit of a twisted sense of humour, but like, you know, as long as they don't, it ruins it when they cry at the end of it and they are actually hurt. But if they're generally just being stupid.
Well, that's how you normally justify it. She'll show me, like, isn't this
like
funny?
the parents send them in, so they're not like, you know, it's obviously not that bad. Like, they're going to be fine. But it's funny watching people get hurt.
Like, how do they get hurt? Like what kind of stuff happens?
They usually, like, you know, when they're standing on things that they shouldn't be, and it breaks. Okay. Or like,
so it's kind of fake. It's kind of set up, kind of.
I don't know.
It's normally like kids doing something stupid. You know, like when they have those bikes without the pedals, and they'll be like razzing along, and then they'll just like fly off like a full deck, and you know, or just like slam into something, or
like in the skate park, and then like a bigger guy comes like bombing past, and the kid isn't where is like stood where they shouldn't be, and then.
Do you see how this is weird now? You're saying it in public.
I stand by it. Right.
To be fair though, you have friends that you all like.
Yeah, there's one that's really funny. It's not funny when you say it, but there's a kid led down, and he's like got a ramp next to him, and there's a toy car that someone's racing to go over the ramp, and it just smacks him in the head. Like, funny.
You'll appreciate this. There's a video out there. I forget whether it was TikTok or Instagram, but it's babies crying, and then somebody slaps a piece of cheddar cheese on their head.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that? And they all are like, "What the fuck?" You know, they all stop crying. It's like cheese is the answer.
Yeah.
My mum used to do that with, you know, the Swiss cheese with holes, but she used to throw it on the back of my head and try and get the holes to line up with the alopecia spots. Like, little game with her and her friends.
Okay, your last one. If you could only have one, would you choose rich or beautiful?
Beautiful's gonna get you
If,
rich.
if you're beautiful, you can find someone who's rich. You know what I mean? Like, get them to do the work.
Could
That's
be.
what I did.
Yeah, I'm always like, when somebody's like, how does Jennifer Aniston do it? I'm like, the girl who can work out for 10 hours a day? I don't know how.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sticking with that beauty?
Yeah, also, like, I've lived my whole life not having a lot of money, and I'm having fun. So, you know,
It's fair.
more money will get me a nicer holiday. But you know, I'd rather take. Yeah, I'll be beautiful and get people to buy me drinks.
You are then like that, right?
yeah.
So I was loving your merch table tours on Instagram, and I love all the book that you have. I want that now with all the stories behind the songs, and I love that you fit the tarot cards into the mausoleum. That took some
That's cool.
foresight.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, look, again, it was every idea that we had to see it through. And yeah, if you put a light underneath it, the dome has holes for the constellations. They shine on the ceiling. They're the same as the 16 cards. You get a constellation chart so you can see which ones are which. And there's not a line on that mausoleum that doesn't have some sort of meaning or reference to some sort of like fucking part of our world. We wanted that was the whole thing, is to set up a world of Sky Valley, because although we're not political in the lyrics that we sing about, we wanted to really make like an active stance to give people hope, you know, because I feel like there's a lot of music out there at the moment that doesn't feel hopeful. And
I think even just being able to switch off from things means that even though the music isn't necessarily hopeful, it just gives you, you know, something else to focus on. And just to enjoy, just to indulge in something for no other reason than to enjoy it.
Yeah, because like we turned something that should have, well, kind of was the worst thing that happened to us when the whole band fell apart, and you know, we were like trying to figure out how to rebuild it. We wanted to make it the thing that we were the most proud of, and turn that. So that's what that whole idea became, and we wanted to share that with people and make it into a real physical thing that, although it like nearly killed us doing it, it was the point that like we can do this, we still have the opportunity to do this, so here it is, let's share this cool thing. Yeah, everything else, there's so much information, we all don't know what's going on, you know, the world's crazy, and I'm not smart enough to dissect it and give you a good view of what to do next. So let's all just put on a good record, and you know, if that's going to be the soundtrack to the end of the world, then at least you go out to a good tune, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe. Well, I was going to say with the mission report, send us your details afterwards. I'll get one sent out to you.
Oh, awesome.
That's awesome.
That sounds great. Yeah.
So I have a question for you with the NASA tie-in and all that. Do you think we've really landed on the moon, or do you think that
100%? I was deep on that stuff. I have followed it like we.
Well, they didn't land this time.
Well, yeah, they didn't land this
Yes.
time. They did the orbit, but we were playing a show in Stoke, and we were like we were talking to all the fans, and we were really politely saying like, listen, we got to get back to the hotel because we do not want to miss the launch. And I followed it all. There's so much science, like, of course, like, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it is really incredible. I mean, the thing is, it's like, of course, humanity did that, like, with the rocket ship and all of the science. And I think it's amazing that they had so much, you know, like, and that's given people so much hope, and, you know, the science around it and stuff. But it's like, I mean, if we can do it in a hearse, you know, that, to me, that's believable. So they can do it in a rocket ship, you know, that seems to make sense, you know. There's no pictures of the mausoleum. I was really hoping when they got to the dark side they might find it, but you know.
We write up these little comedy bits for our show, and I went down this whole rabbit hole with NASA stories, and there was one we actually did a comedy bit on. They were going up, you know, one of the first, you know, Apollo launches, and he thought it would be funny, one of the astronauts, if he snuck a sandwich on, so he took it out. But the problem was, in zero gravity, the crumbs started going into all the instruments, in their face. I mean, there was like an inquisition about this afterwards because he could have ruined the entire thing because he took a corned beef sandwich into orbit.
Oh, that's a poor choice as well.
They called it like the $60,000 sandwich.
Because there had to be a congressional hearing. And
Love that. That's all good. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was all kinds of good fun. Well, we hope at some point you guys come over our side of the pond.
Great.
We in Baltimore we have a great thing. We go to Maryland Death Fest every year, obviously, but we also have Maryland Doom Fest the following month. So right in there.
You need to get someone from there to give us a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
We don't have any political pull, unfortunately, in the music underground. Just, you know.
It's all right.
Speaking of that, a friend of mine was talking to me the other day. He hates the fact that you can do YouTube comments on like music videos. He's like, you know, if it was a famous painting, they don't give you a space to write shit in the corner, right?
yeah.
I don't know why he gets so upset about it. I love comments. Because I'll be like, Dad, is that you? Like, I love comments. You know, like even if they're negative, you know.
Yeah.
Why does everyone feel the need to say everything all the time? That's the classic thing, isn't it?
Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, more people need opinions on us because that means more people will know about us.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll think, oh my God, I pissed someone off enough to write a nasty comment. That's awesome.
Yeah. That like when we did Download Festival when we just started as a band.
Before we had a bassist.
Yeah, before we had a bassist, and I really, really relished in the fact that Metal Hammer gave us a 3 out of 10 review for our live tour and said that we were like what was it? Like a
disinterested something around.
Soulless, yes. And I just loved it that, you know, we've pissed off this little.
That's great. Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? This doesn't have double bass drum. I don't like it. Brilliant, mate. You spend the time to tell me how much you hate it. Like, that's great. That's
wow.
That's kind of like you were talking about Kerrang magazine. Like, my older friends, they always consider that was like the Iron Maiden magazine. That was the new British heavy metal magazine. I didn't see it that way. To me, JD from Korn was on the cover like all the time. You know, that was more like the new metal magazine to me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I got it just on the cusp of that going into like the big pop punk world.
Yeah.
I really noticed. Like I was on that transition.
Right.
From the old logo to the new one. Well,
yeah.
I'll do anymore. But anyway.
Well, thank you for doing this in full space regalia. Appreciate it.
And thank you for this album. It's really meant a lot to me personally and made a huge impact. So can't wait to give you guys a beer in person.
That's right.
Yes, that would be incredible.
Seriously, thank you so much for listening to our record and spending so much time with it. Like, you know, we obviously put so much time into the art, but it's like for you to listen to it and take that out of it, like that means the world to us. You know, like seriously, like it blows our mind. And this is the thing, our career trajectory, you know, maybe it didn't go the way that like 16-year-old me wanted, but what it's taught me now is that every little step that we get, we don't take it for granted. And we're talking to 2 people in America who know our music and enjoy it. Like, that's insane. You know what I mean? And we're doing it from the moon. No.
Falling on deaf ears.
It reminds me of Hawkeye from Mad. Absolutely. Okay. Deaf ears 1.
This is Bleakness with blurred visions. Bleakness is the quality or state of being bare and inhospitable. I picture a pudding skin gray sky, a cup of coffee gone cold, and a stick of gum as a piss poor stand-in for breakfast.
That is a very piss poor.
The kind of day that feels oppressive, like the barometric pressure is off, clammy and cold, the forgotten boys of summer long vanished, all the flowers wilted, and dry husks, and ache in the joints that predicts rain. Paris itself seems quite the opposite of bleak, known for its romantic atmosphere, unparalleled art, models on the catwalk, and quiche and croissants at corner bistros.
But there is a flip side. Paris is also the birthplace of Gothic architecture, the guillotine, Les Miserables, the infamous catacombs, and Ménage à Trois. underneath the postcard version of the city is a long history of decay, revolution, death, and beautiful misery. Somewhere in that shadowy overlap lives Bleakness. This Paris Trio channel, a dark blend of punk and post-punk that sounds ripped straight from the early 80s. Sitting somewhere between Joy Division, Cure, and Depeche Mode, but with enough punk urgency and grit to forge their own lane, and not the shitty drum sound
Yes.
of the early 80s goth bands. Blurred Visions is their third album, featuring 10 tracks that all stay in that sweet punk-friendly 3 to 4 minute range. Some standout tracks have to include A Sour Sensation. It opens with the guitar of Nico Desire, coming in thin, sharp, and wiry, brittle shimmer and nervous energy, initially sounding slightly muffled in the left ear before swelling fully into both channels. The snare throb from Greg Mognier is tight and compressed, almost pinched at the edges, rolling forward as a kick drum acceleration builds the tension towards the chorus. Nico's vocals sit in a deep baritone with a touch of gothic theatricality, but also a hint of Billy Idol's sneer.
Gang choruses float as the guitar plays those urgent bleats in rotation. It feels like a call to action. We're witnessing a competition between the bad and the worst, and we feel a sour sensation, but we must never give in, never give up. Fabian Mari's bass is the secret ingredient in the sauce, impactful and droning, yet subtly flexible, as if the line is constantly shifting through chord progressions. Near the track's end, a short guitar solo arrives with that high, sawing melody darting in and out in quick bursts before stretching into longer, sustained notes, then back to quick, short ones, dropping like sprinkles scattering over a hot fudge sundae. Let's play a clip. This is A Sour Sensation. The Left Behind is another favorite. Desire's guitar jangle sits right in that Cure sweet spot, chiming and in constant motion, equal parts spunk and gothic watercolor like pastel tones with a faint smear of melancholy. Beneath it, the bass adds a kind of dark effervescence, moving in slow end gushes. The drums from Mugnet land with impact snare cracks snapping over slow, insistent kick drum strikes, with the occasional cymbal shimmer cutting through.
Desire's vocals carry a melodic, haunted vibe with a rough-edged delivery reminiscent of Unto Others' Gabriel Franco. The forgotten will rise above their chains, will make them feel our endless pain. We're the ones who scream and fight. We're in the dark, but we don't die tonight. For the chorus, the guitars tighten into an even more coiled oscillation, bursting forward with the same melancholic tone like wind chimes dancing before a storm. The drums lock into a counting pulse with quick kick rises that snap the track back into its verse cycles. A subtle haunted organ line is added to the mix, another layer in this gothy 7-layer dip. The guitar briefly drops out, then stutters back in, with a short oscillating melodic solo before returning to its original melody. Near the track's end, the guitar steps aside entirely, revealing the bass in full motion, throbbing and shifting like a cello line, pushing and pulling against the drums, showing off the percussive groove.
My favorite track is The Dead of Night. The bass from Mari is front and center, surging and bubbling lines of notes with pure chord change propulsion that continues to shake the tail feather of this song. When Bizarre's guitar comes in, it's a high, mewling lead tone that curls inward before stretching out again, with tight riffs thrown in for a nail-biting edge. The melody on repeat snags the brain like ivy stubbornly growing on an iron gate. The vocals of Bizarre feel more desperate here, with quicker phrasing and a voice that starts to break at the edges, adding a slightly panic-stricken tension beneath the melody. That urgency pays off in the gang choruses, especially on the repeated Dead of Night, which feels like tailor-made for fists and pitchforks in the air. Magnet's drums lock in tightly with the bass like a vein of magma trying to keep pace, snare and kick pushing forward in a relentless synchronized churn. Between verses, the guitar reappears to restate the main melodic line, each return ratcheting the tension higher until the track feels fully locked in a frenzy.
If you think about it, without Bleakness, how would we really appreciate the warm days in the sun, sand between your toes, drink in hand? You need the contrast. The wet sock in the mud puddle day makes the golden one feel earned. Even the doldrums have their place, like a strange little vacation to introspection. As Bizarre puts it, well, most lyrics are inspired by my vision of contemporary life, a mix between what I personally live and what I see and hear around me. It deals with feelings of fear and frustration and the consequences of these feelings. I think dragging the darker parts of modern life out into the daylight renders them less monstrous. Add into it that this band turns it into songs you can move to. They make post-punk gothic rock feel as infectious as COVID on a cruise ship. Fans of Final Gasp, Typo Negative, or Poison Ruin will happily haunt the castle with this crew. It's perfectly acceptable, perhaps even encouraged, to sit in Paris Corner Bakery, eating a croissant while dressed like Wednesday Addams. In the end, it's all about balance. Let's hear a little The Dead of Night.
Dead of night.
Deaf Ears 2 is a new album from Armored Saint, Emotion Factory Reset. So what is the state of a band 9 albums into their career? Totally past their prime? A reliable institution? Let's take a look at some album number 9 situations, shall we? Without looking, what was the 9th Black Sabbath album? Anybody know? That would be Never Say Die from 78. I got to say, I pulled that one out recently, and honestly, it's not that bad. We've all heard the stories of cocaine by the truckload, separate limousines. Oz even left the band for a while prior to the recording in lieu of stand-in Dave Walker. Honestly, they grooved the shit out of stuff like Shockwave and Junior's Eyes. But for the love of God, do not play me Swinging the Chain, ever. Whoever had the idea of stripper anthem against Bill Ward's sunshiny vocals on a Black Sabbath album should have been pink slip post haste.
Guess which album is the Scorpions' 9th? Yup, you guessed it, Love at First Sting. It really speaks as a testament to that band's staying power, as they really enjoyed 3 lifetimes as a band: the Uli Ross psychedelic era, the 80s hard rock hit machine, and then the whole post Winds of Change era. I knew when I heard that song in the Hallmark store that the band had outdone themselves once again.
Okay, I got one more. Motorhead's 1916. This is a patchy one. Some shirt killers like I'm So Bad, Baby, I Don't Care, and Going to Brazil. But this was not a time when I wanted to hear Lemmy and crew adorned with saxophones, ballads, keyboards, and are those cellos in the title track? Would I rather hear cellos and keyboards on a Motorhead album or have them just play Ace of Spades 100 times? Ace of Spades, for God's sake! 2, 3, 4. I really don't know.
Emotion Factory Reset is album nueve for the hard rock legends Armored Saint, with 11 new songs, mostly in the meaty 4 to 5 minute range. Produced once again by bassist Joey Vera, and his wife is the president of Metal Blade Records. Talk about a power couple. It's an album that superbly balances a classic sound while coming through fresh, modern, and virile. Let's play a clip. This is Hit a Moonshot.
All right, so the song you just heard, Hit a Moonshot, finds the band in excellent form, particularly Bush's voice, which growls, sneers, and croons like the seasoned pro he most certainly is. From that first buzzing riff, this one just builds tension and then deals out speeding crescendos guaranteed to get hips swiveling and manes nodding. In fact, I defy you not to headbang when Gonzo hits the gas pedal to work it to the core, jack to the core, wreck the town like a cyber war. It's a stunning tribute to the true professionals in sports, art, and life that keep pushing through and nailing it.
Close to the bone, sprightly up-tempo rocker with flashing guitar harmonies built on a fierce giddy-up from Gonzo and a buzzing riff that sounds fresh and classic at the same time. Bottom feeder skulks along at a doomish pace, Gonzo gliding over snare toms in perfect driving rhythm as Bush delivers lines like, "Well, this affirmation is a bit shady," and "hit the ground and dance around, but watch the Mercedes." Duncan and Sandoval uncork a gorgeous open chord segment for the chorus in this perhaps the angriest track on the record. The leads on this track are some of my favorites. The way to this longtime duo dips between single note howls and harmonized hooks have to be heard to be believed.
John Bush recently had this to say about the album. I want to keep moving forward, but we know who we are. It's not like we're going to dish out the new trip hop black metal bluegrass album. So what's the final verdict? Does The Saint continue to conquer for album number 9? You bet your copy of Zepp's Coda they do. Actually, you can keep that one. I don't really need it. Come to think of it. Let's hear Close to the Bone. Okay, Deaf Ears 3 is a new album from Irked, The Grievance. Can you imagine if your job was running the complaint department somewhere at a counter? All day long, you have to listen to people bitching about the most ridiculous things. How long are they going to be cleaning the restrooms? Would you prefer they didn't clean them? Why did you guys close the Pottery Barn? Well, I guess they couldn't compete with the Kiln Connection. I don't know. I can't find a store that has over-the-hill gift ideas, offensive t-shirts, and sex toys. Really? Maybe you should try Spencer Gifts instead of Boscov's.
The Grievance is the debut full-length from the red-hot UK punk band Irked, and it couldn't have come at a better time. This music jabs you like a safety pin to the earlobe. It's packed with tight, surfy riffing from guitarist Simon Hubbard, fluid aggro grooves courtesy of drummer Zachary McDade, and the unbridled screaming rage of vocalist Helen Walkinshaw.
Helen Walkinshaw, thank you very much. Governor? Sorry.
They're mad about everything. Local politics, national politics, hell, maybe even office politics. This band does the simple things, but they do them very, very well. I was impressed from the very first song. Who starts off a punk record with a 3-minute near instrumental? A very smart band, because as soon as you hear the gradual build-up from slow burn to speeding frenzy that makes IRKEDFU.
IRKEDFU, yes.
It becomes obvious that this will always be the perfect live opener to warm up the crowd, guaranteed to crush whether they're opening for Discharge or Ed Sheeran. Let's hear a little of the very thing right now. Let's play a clip. This is IRKEDFU.
Settle Down does everything but. Storming out of the gates with speeding drums and wheezing guitars. The track settles into a hard slashing pattern with lots of Dead Kennedys adjacent riffs from Hubbard, as Walkinshaw squeals, screeches, and screams an ode to getting older and why you don't hang out with your friends anymore. Sometimes you just get close enough to them to realize that they're kind of a pain in the ass. You know a song called... Sorry. Okay. So you know a song called Irked versus Area Manager is going to absolutely rule, and it does not disappoint. The groove is bass heavy, a nice breakout for four-string whiz Michael Hill to show off his mad skills. Walkinshaw totally skewers mindless authority with phrases like, always be accountable, always be held to answer, and change is happening, lean into it, you are over. This is some of the angriest, catchiest, edgiest punk I've heard in years. The one I have to include is probably my favorite, Who Asked? Exploding on a pistol-style riff, the band settling into one of the tightest grooves, and Helen resolutely carries the day, showing off full range of her vocal rancor, culminating in a chorus I cannot believe nobody else ever thought of. Why does everybody want to fight with me? Not me. This woman would kick my ass big time. Yeah.
We talked about it on the show all the time. Where's the anger? Well, we found it. File this one next to Tiger Leech and Gutter Blood in terms of dialing up the forgotten concept of actually questioning authority instead of simply ignoring the state of the world in lieu of endless doom scrolling. Get over to their Bandcamp page and grab one of the sexy yellow or Coke bottle green vinyl copies of The Grievance before they're gone. It's just the music to get you through the day when someone asks if the coffee shop has any salads. Let's play a clip. This is Who Asked.
You step through the yard past the great pound bar, see your lights up ahead, but you need a store. You're always running late, but never miss the start. You bum a time of a line, and the interview starts. You said it's fine. I don't wanna go out, no time to waste. But you're messing about, you got your shit swapped. Cause you're ready for war, you're gonna keep up. If you wanna go far, why does everybody wanna fight with me? Why does everybody wanna fight with me? Why does everybody wanna fight with me? Why does everybody wanna fight with me?
There you go.
Number 40.
40. Number 40 in the books. Absolutely. Yeah. Don't you dare yell at him because you can't get it up. This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to the gang from Sky Valley Mistress for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kembren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 4 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. You can find him on Instagram at KC Angel Art. Deaf Ears bands featured this week: Bleakness, Irked, Armored Saint. All content 2026, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
For that performance, Junior, we are going to the ice rink and you will shoot every puck in the net until you have cat-like reflexes. You know, like, ah! Hit!
Fuck. God damn it.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.